Hi, it's Mark here, and I'm just making a very quick video of the proposed plan, staging plan for LesMis, because Jenny had GCSE drama today, and Kay, you were obviously very busy as well, so maybe with that as well. So I just thought if I do this very quickly, then it shows you where we're at, and then we can start talking about it a little bit further. This is the ground plan. I'm going to show you the three-dimensional sort of mock-up, which has a few bugs, but it at least gives you an idea of what it could look like. But this is the plan so far. So we have our orchestra down the bottom. So obviously these entrances at the bottom left and right are the entrances from the foyer. And you come in underneath the seating, underneath the staging, so actors will be able to walk on all of this area where my mouse is going, and it also has a little bit of a triangle bit out the front. This bit at the front is actually a little bit lower, and it doesn't have any handrails for the moment when he jumps off. I just thought that it should be safe enough to be able to allow us not to have handrails there. This actually all joins up, so this is all 2 meters high. So in fact, this is all 2 meters high, this back bit here, but it ends here because of the stairwell for the other staging, which I'll get to. So technically, although there's seating here, there is actually possibly room for actors to push themselves through if you wanted them to in certain scenes and actually go down the aisle of the seating down here, and that would be both sides as well. So my plan is with this, the cast up here is that they will be able to come down over the blue seats onto here and perform here. But if you wanted, as I say, for them to go through the audience, they could squeeze through and everything. The next thing is you've got all this staging, which looks a bit messy. It looks easier in the three-dimensional thing, but I'll show you that in a minute. But ultimately, you have these high platforms here, and as I said, they go behind the audience, and then they go down a staircase here, which allows you to then be able to get the cast out of here through this door into the corridor by the music rooms on both sides underneath things. So again, I'll be able to show you that. I've spoken to Dr. P, and he has given me the whole list of all the musicians. There's a lot of musicians, so there's a little bit more space for them. As you can see, there is some spare space, so we could put some other, it's quite flexible fundamentally. It allows plenty of musicians to be in there. But hopefully it doesn't cut into the stage performance area. Ultimately, I think I worked out with Dr. P that it's about 24 foot square, this area here, of performance space, and then you have obviously all this area and all the area at the top over the orchestra. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the foyer. So this is the thing, and we're going to look at the three-dimensional thing and I'm going to walk you through the three-dimensional view. Okay, so this is sort of my pretend thing. I've not made any more rooms, so therefore that's why it looks like it's outside. Obviously we're on the second floor, but anyway. So the audience could enter obviously either side depending on their tickets, and they would come through their door and they would instantly come underneath staging, which is 2 meters high, so unless they are really tall, they shouldn't bang their heads. I'm using black curtaining here to mask certain areas, but then as we come in, I was planning to keep as much of the legs and all those kind of things bare, so it is quite obvious the staging of it. So this is an audience member coming in. We should have a clearance of about a meter 20 down here, so it should be safe and it should be okay for wheelchairs, although they can enter through the other entrance as well, which is wider. And there we have our theatre. So you can see on both sides the seating plan. Now, one thing to mention at this point is that they are just like Fiddle on the Roof. They are raised in 40 centimetre height, so therefore you should have no problems with heads getting in the way of each other because it's quite steep. The other thing is that it does go much higher. So these people up here sat right at the back are 2 meters high. There's no chairs here because this is where I'm proposing to put the sound desk. And the reason why I'm putting it there is because actually, as you will see on the other side, there are some seats that will have restricted view. So therefore, on this side I've left them there because you could sell them. I'll show you the view. That it's actually not that bad, but you could sell them, or we could put other technical people like there, or video cameras and stuff like that. So let's look at this area. So here we go. You said you wanted a low platform rising up, so we've got steps to do that. We can obviously play about with this. One of the benefits with the simple sort of layout I've got here is that these areas here are just curtaining, like I was planning to have sort of tatty cloth hanging, and we could actually put like furniture under through those curtains, so you could use it as a sort of wing space to hide things. Again, we could have blocks coming out of here for the barricade and stuff, so that's an option. Obviously the cast can go up here, and then they can go all the way around, and then they can drop down a staircase behind the audience and walk underneath the audience, which I'll show you in a minute. Obviously we've got our two main exits here, going into the classrooms, where we can bring large wheeled surfaces to make the barricade, and obviously most of the cast will come through, and obviously that's very clear onto the main performance area. Looking at the other end, obviously the orchestra, this looks like glass, which it is because of the software, it's just pretending to be glass. But obviously this would be gauze, so fundamentally you would not necessarily see them, and maybe that gauze could match the kind of quality of the materials here that's just making it look a little bit tidier. Obviously if we can light Dr. P so that he can be seen by the cast, and of course he can then see them, and we also have discussed about having a video camera and a couple of TVs in certain places. The one thing I should say at this point is that I have not finished the design of the back of how this would look, and maybe what bits of set we will create, like abstract buildings and stuff, on the seating as it goes out back to the control box to cover up all of that kind of bit of the theatre. So that's the one last bit I need, but I needed to make sure that this all works and you agree to it before I do that. So let's just quickly walk upstairs and see a couple of examples. It doesn't unfortunately walk upstairs, so I have to press the button. Go upstairs. As you can see, this obviously is a better view. It's quite obviously a very big playing area. You can see the red seats here, but of course you can't actually get to those seats from here because there is a massive staircase which will drop you down, which I need to drop myself down now, the staircase. So pretend I'm walking down the staircase, thank you. And fundamentally you have their corridor where you can actually exit into the side corridors. There is a possibility, if you wanted to have people being able to go through here underneath the staging, underneath the staircase, which is just there, and through here, and then of course you're out here again. So we could make that possible. It would be very easy. They just have to crouch down. Let me show some of the viewing of some of the seats. So that's obviously a good seat. You can see everything. You can see all the way around. So they're excellent seats. If I go a little bit further back and now raise myself a little bit, again they're good seats. the main issue is these red ones, which you'll notice cuts off because of the handrails. Obviously the handrails are actually not as thick as this. The handrails are not as thick as this because I had to use pretend windows to make it out so that I knew what the handrails would look. So you could probably see through it a lot more, so they're not that bad restricted. The other restricted seats are on the other end, where I put a couple more seats in, and technically we could actually put even a few more, but obviously you're seeing these seats that the view is quite restricted. Obviously you can't see over the other side, but it's not too bad, so you can see certain bits. Obviously the actors will be able to come down from the seating down onto this platform, and don't worry about the hole will be sorted. And obviously the person who throws themselves off will be able to throw themselves off here. Technically you can pretty much get all the way around, so as you could say, you could have some people in certain scenes pushing their way through these people. There would be enough room. Obviously the sound desk would be there, and then they can actually enter the stage there. So one last thing is I thought we'd do is we'd just quickly look at how the orchestra work. Obviously Dr. P's seen this, so he's okay. So we have banks of seats. This is meant to be a piano here, another keyboard, and obviously Dr. P would be here with percussion all in the background with those white cylinders. And this is the view that Dr. P would have. So he can actually pretty much see all the way around, which is absolutely fantastic for him. And obviously if he's lit, then everyone will be able to see him. The only issue is, of course, is that because he's down there and you have people performing up here quite a lot, these people won't actually be able to see him. So one of the ideas is to get a video camera and a television screen, maybe putting a television screen, hiding it sort of here so it's not too obvious. One other option, which I thought, because we haven't looked at what I might do around here, like with the shutters, if you remember these white shutters hanging abstractly, and obviously working with some kind of set that I'm going to design here. But what we could do is we could have some television screens in amongst all of that, showing Dr. P conducting, so that the cast can see him. And because of the nature of the kind of style of production, you might not bother you if obviously if they see him as well. I think that is therefore it. And of course, the great thing about the plan is that if it's agreed and we're happy with it, it tells me exactly what we need, even to the sheets of wood that's going on the floor, and where the dance floor gets laid, so it covers with black cloth and all those kind of things. I haven't counted up the staging blocks to see how many we would have to hire and all those kind of things. But we have obviously checked the seating capacity, and at the moment the seating capacity is at 160, with 10 of them being restricted. But as you can see, most of those restricted ones aren't actually that bad. So fundamentally, at the moment, we have met the brief of getting it over 150. And I'm sorry it's not more than that, but it is incredibly tight. Okay, thank you.